First and foremost, Ghana, you need any group called separatist group. Our land, Ghana. Republic, Yenibi.
Okay.
Ghana, any group recognized, known internationally anywhere. I am from secessionist.
Okay.
It is a confusion of the media, confusion of the state communications apparatus, and confusion, if you call, so-called security analysts, and then also the security community, or Mankasa speeches. I can get up today, me say, Maje Dakuman, na a country media Maje. Look, we have what forms that it takes. An idea here, the land Ghana, so omo communicate, which I'll call it, I'm sorry to use the word, a stupid reason. Stupid reason is say there was an agreement in 1956, and that agreement gave them say omo country be a near friend Western Togoland.
And 1956.
56. Yes. And they were talking about 1844, there was an agreement of Western Togoland. 1844, within that region was left by the Germans. And the Germans left the Basel churches. And the Germans lived in Togo. Germans in Togo, after the 1844, 100 years, Portuguese is signed with all their colonies. Now, Brofuni names 100 years, beba. French first signed with their colonies, no means 100 years, beba. And the British signed no means 100 years, beba. So in the 1945, end of the Second World War, when the Allied forces, the UK, that is the English, the French, and the Americans, a team up say all the Axis power countries are against the Allied forces, which was the German, Japan, Italy, Ethiopia, and other countries. All these Axis powers, they will not allow them to occupy any territory of the world and call it a colony. So Germany, as you know, didn't colonize any country in the world apart from Germany.
Germany did not.
They were not given the right
any country
in the world.
In the world,
yes,
apart from Germany itself.
Germany itself.
Wow.
Okay, so let's look at places where Germans have lived in the 1844 era. Germans have lived in a country called Cameroon before the Second World War. Germans have lived a land called Togo within this region. The Volta part and then the Volta region and then the Togo side of it were lived by the Germans. And when the Allied forces took over and asked the Germans to leave, Germans left West Africa, left Cameroon, left Togo, and went to Namibia. So they went to settle in Namibia, and there again in Namibia, they were not allowed to colonize them, but they went into occupation and lived there until the last, just about 30 years ago. Germans didn't leave, they colonized them. Germans post Second World War left and lived in Argentina. So if you are talking about any country where they would have colonized, Argentina would have been part. But that also didn't happen. Ghana, 1956 now, Omar Kabeka Hwasemno. I'm sorry to say, so foolishly, 1956 there was no Ghana. So you couldn't have signed any agreement with any country called Ghana. If there was any agreement, all this 1844 leading to that 100 years, Ashanti region yabi.
Yeah.
Ashanti region yabi. At that time, Ghana was not a republic. What is the meaning of republic? Republic, it is a form of government where the citizenry are allowed or have the right to take the government and rule themselves. But at the time of 1844, there was no republic. So we were ruled by a colonial master. That is the colonies. And the agreements are the Gold Coast, the British then signed with other communities, Even in Nigeria, Biafra, the south of Nigeria. And when Ghana became Ghana post-independence 1957, I call for a Ghana name from Mauritania, Dombesara, Ediba have been named after our country. At that time, Papevi, who today is the leader of HSGF or whatever that they call themselves. In country didn't the foundation. They are stupid. You can't have a foundation. The only place a foundation colonized you in Liberia. Liberia didn't have independence from Americans. It was a foundation, NGO, American NGO in colonizing Liberia. And they say, "Oh, say we a foundation now per country." Then let's go into the agreements and what they claimed it was signed. No agreement as we speak now. And except what they speak on their mouth. So Kwame Nkrumah in 1957, there was nothing that he was given by the British.
Okay.
Say, we are giving you, because they gave Ghana the constitution, giving them the right, say, if you like, I take it, if you like, don't like, modify. And Oma Ghana judiciary, and Oma Ghana legislative system, and or the man independence, and or the country man swear and or the man. One man no any hand over notice say, ye land bi ananya ya dia, and as our land no, ye no, into mutimi disanko for the mo ye mum. Now, Papa V and the team, Nipa 200. Now, what gives the right of self-determination? What gives the right of self-determination? So, obese obetimaten hono. There are four things, basically, in the international law, in the eyes of international law, in the UN, and all the community blocks. One, there's what is called media attention. You'll be a ho. Yenya media attention from time immemorial. But what you say? There's what is called prior mission. There should have been an existing mission be say Oma tribe. Ena yam farmer womu, ana omu penny yam farmer womu, and omni British one coin, and Oman from Nom de Bamagan. There was no prime mission.
Okay.
There is no economic interest. Economic interest in say, baby a omo kasano, oni asasibi, anase, na oni se Ghana oil, Ghana cocoa, Ghana bauxite, Ghana manganese, Ghana gold, a yom no mudia, and a country naji, and yama omubi. And the last one is the spillover effect. There had not been an occasion in the past of 55 years now, 67 years no more can I say, 69 years no more can. There had been say a problem, yes, see, there's a spillover. Ghanaian citizens within the area, and I say, Omu Pese, Omu Kode, Omu Ko, Western Togoland. There had never been like that. So you don't have the economic interest. The media attention is not there. Prime mission was not there, and there was no spillover effect. So we need Sanyama we are. Two, Sanyama we you come from a country as an independent, so-called secessionist. You need secessionist, Wahab. You can't secede the land of Ghana. You can't create and demarcate part. No barriers, no frontiers, no demarcations. Into another baton chain. Now Ghana, you have lived in. You hold the pocket in your pocket. Ghana voters ID, Ghana's passport, Ghana's your friends insurance card, Ukra Ghana education certificates, Ako school or Ghana. You've lived in Ghana until 89 years. I can't bear 1 year no, and now very few. Okay? Also, with your country with 200 people. I'm sorry, I'll be a little bit blunt this morning. Foolishly, if you want to take a country, you need the numbers. Where is the number? Moye scattered group. O Papa V, o tija sekai. It is not your base. Eye town wa team and a honor free. Ba kuso free salton. Obi fi mi fi mepe. Obi fi sogakope. Scattered people, 200 people. In which of the nations, of the world, of the community, any other country, bema criminals, 200 people form it a country. That bush flag flag of every country has a name and a meaning. They should come and explain the meaning of their flag. You are taking the community. Mo amuso mo kwati mo country no. Mo the city ban and a mo headquarters. City ban and a mo capital. Na citizen ban now they call for more country. These issues have not been addressed by the Papa V and any team. Remember what I say? Or say or kwa ni currency. Currency, it is not a toilet roll. I'm sorry. The point is that a currency must have a union. The union must be accepted by IMF, the World Bank, international community, at large. Me pacho Papa V, ni toilet roll paper na no so be no. What the best form community be. Ghana is part of West Africa. Ghana is a founder of the ECOWAS, a key member of the Allies of the Africa continent called the AU before OAU. Now, smart, interestingly, the country, as I've mentioned before, on the whole of the African continent, that successfully over the years have spoken on the UN General Assembly as the biggest community bloc of the United Nations. After any UN assembly, when the United Nations General Secretary speaks, the next bloc country to speak is Ghana. Rawlings, who had even military uniform, addressed the UN General Assembly timeless until so free power. President Mills, Wakasa UN General Assembly, as the first to speak for Africa. Nana Addo, he's done same. President Kufuor, throughout his 8 years, every year he was the first to speak, even before Obasanjo, before Thabo Mbeki, before Festus Mogai, because Uhuru and all those people. So, Ghana is seen as the world, one of the African broker of peace for the whole entire world. Papa V, yes, a guy be also the Dandogbe. He should be listening. We educate him today. When it comes to the congregation of the international community, when you position Ghana, as I've always said, any UN charter, declaration, anything on earth, good ones, and then even, excuse me, the nonsense, Ghana is the first country to sign. Countries that have given birth, support, creation and declaration of a nation, Ghana had always been the first. And typical case scenario, Namibia. South Africa, Ghana was the first country to declare Batutistan land. Say Yamkoho. Nelson Mandela movement, ANC, Ghana gave Nelson Mandela and others, they were using Ghana passports as a holding area. Mariam Makeba Munyina could say Ghana passport as a holding area to fight for independence. But what I say? South Sudan, Ghana president was the first to speak against Omar Bashir. Now let's talk about the numbers. You don't have the numbers. 200 people cannot form a country. 2, you are not living on any island where the island, you know, we are secluded and I say, we are say, yeah, this franchise on like the main country in show. Papa Vimonte Archipelago. Only any desert to be or isolated. And plus, we have pariah states. Ghana is not a pariah state. The country is not under any isolation, but the country is a unitary state. What do? We rather canvass support for countries to be together on the continent of Africa.
Okay.
Mozambique, top case scenario. Samora Machel, Eduardo Mondlane, and then Inyusu, Felipe Inyusu. When they formed the party Frelimo, and the Frelimo, you can't have say, oh, you country now the country anymore. Inland is not done that way, Papa V. Neutralize your identity. For passport to her, then you look out for a country that supports. Enti Frelimo, Samora Machel, a person or J Mozambique, every Angola semno. Omo kote Frelimo, and omo call Tanzania 1962, and omo tra Tanzania, and omo form party. And we form a movement. In the Papa V, education is the file political movement. Ne move out of Ghana. Ne kopese Togo, Benin, and I say Bush be officer Ghana ha ubetimatinum. Unfortunately for them, Ghana Bush is two land. Ghana country any land. Entintin yentiminya coup. Yentiminya military presence. Yentiminya uniform. Yentiminya obianko she Bush. Anya campaign. Now the 3 or the 11 forms of the group na yawa the terrorizing Nipano. Ghana yeni terrorism our land. Yeni insurgents group. Yeni fugitives. Yeni rebels. Yeni Al-Qaeda. Yeni liberation movement. Yeni protestants. Yeni vigilante. Yeni bandits. And other forms. Ewa hasi. Rawlings 19 years rule. No Ghanaian military could go to the bush because they couldn't still live in the bush. Hali Dujiwa, Ekoye Bush. Ghana for or call share farm be ewo Brahaf region. Omu fre Jerimuso unkofona baha. and a farmers now coding omo and omkochi umbabekum omo wahase. Because the bush and the land is not like Cote d'Ivoire, where the land is free. It's not like Nigeria, where the government has the lands. It's not like any other country, Benin, Togo, and etc. And plus, one, the country hasn't got one single exile leader, the whole worldwide. Into the forms now, the better on country any fugitive, our border nature person obem. She sika baby Ghana politicians say we are ti kroma no di no guess. Yanche no ompi abontin.
There be.
Into any fugitive.
Okay.
Yeni insurgents, our tribe bibi coup and we Ghana kote border and person obem. Yeni bi meboa. Okay. We need insurgents. 30 million populated nation, you need one single person or say or support two MPP into no any political prisoner or chrome her. Cote d'Ivoire or Soron Guillaume. Say or exile leader. Yawa Laurent Gbagbo, he's in exile. Burkina, your exile leader. Idriss Déby, any your friend is saying Chad, Niger, all of them they had exile leaders. So when there's an exile leader outside and you want to come in, it gives the power for the people to give a support. Say you perceive a fight near them. We don't have any of this. Now Tiha, we use Jessica post office. We use Jessica police station. Unum Jessica Nsu. We use electricity. What are we reaching? Oma Chanwashia. As we speak, Oma ko school. Sanya a year lockdown and can grant a classroom. Not gonna teach a China there. Do you get up and wake up and say, "O secede na secession"? Now, me can't wait to say, Ghanaian professors, security analysts, our more airwaves, our more bombarded. I can't say successful secessionist attack. Back or say this is the most successful secessionist attack in the West African region. Me bacho papa waiting. Men kaso wa bombe to waiting. Says how now the students of Ghana dia will news back because say there is no secessionist group on the soil of West Africa anymore. There is no secessionist group in any way in West Africa. Ojuku, the Biafra, they themselves they wanted a land demarcation and self-determination called state autonomy state. And I know more fighting. Because no numbers. The whole South, Akwa Ibom state, Calabar, Delta, South, Nina, up to Cameroon, the Bakassi Peninsula, the part of provinces of Douala, you come from the Lutra province. All the Kumba Belt, Bamleke land in English. So they had the numbers to fight and call for independence. And then today, Cameroon, they are fighting the Abazonians, the South Cameroon people, English, because they qualify for what? The economic interest of Cameroon. That's where they have the money. There is a pre-mission, because Oma Tribida. The media attention all over the world, aware. And at the spillover effect, the communities are big. And they are also calling for. Let's go back to Palestine. Palestine till today. Until Yasser Arafat died till today, it is still a state. The Jewish says that we will not grant you independence. Case in UN. Me pa di case na wie. Oma konhu party, akonhu party. I was in Tel Aviv when Yitzhak Rabin was murdered. I was on UN assignment on a program somewhere. When he was murdered, the first person to enter even Israel to go and talk and mourn with Rabin's wife was Yasser Arafat. Palestinian state. They qualify everything. The numbers are there. They have not granted them. This issue, why you said, and me de file a best studio, just to let you know, as I speak, I'm handling the same issue myself with the West Papua people. And West Papua is a country. They are the biggest island of the whole worldwide with 3 million people. The only community, the only citizen, the only people in the world, black people, African descendants, are almost slavery in the hands of Jakarta, Indonesia government is the West Papua. Their leader, Beniwenda. Myself with Beniwenda at the ACP summit. We spoke. Nanado was the first person to speak in Gungi Yamapoja Declaration of Kenya. Just December 2nd to 11th. Mumusa Foreign Minister. I was in the same hotel with Nana. West Papua case. Home documents in We are now pushing the agenda, and the country we are looking forward, because the first person to speak on it was Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. President Kufuor hosted Benewenda in Ghana. President Rawlings hosted Benewenda in Ghana to push for independence for 2.5 million people, not independence for 200 criminals.
Not independence for
200 criminals.
Okay.
Now let's go back. The process. Your ECOWAS. Olete enko ECOWAS. Olete enko ECOWAS. United Nations, and now Ghana interview, or say, as we speak today, Western Togoland issue is at the UN table. They are discussing. I'm sorry, gentlemen, you are foolish. Because, say, the United Nations representative permanent for West Africa called the UNWAS. Oya Ghana Ambassador Bin Chambers. The United Nations permanent representative for East Africa, Hanate Tekuda. It's a Ghanaian. When you bring the United Nations umbrella groups, there is none of them a Ghanaian head. Yabenya Ghanaian, Amana Beye UN Secretary General. FAO, UNICEF, UNHCR, UNDP, Monkoshe, Ghana fu eguso. So the UN, what the Accra, what the Bush be was a mepe anababy awo. We see the case is being discussed at the UN. Me pacho omini can call ECOWAS. The hosting country is Nigeria, Abuja. On for application call. But before so be yesano, the can address it to MCE, Metropolitan Chief Executive, our Volta region. No cry their command regional minister. Now regional minister the Ama Security Council. No the Ama National Security. Na mu friwa na ma petition ECOWAS. Na ECOWAS a petition a United Nations ECOWAS representative. Na Chambers Gia or the akwa African Union. No serve UN. Na African Union Gia. African Union yakitwa. Our ACP, African Caribbean Pacific, which is 89 countries instead of 56. Now they are called the General Assembly of the ACP. ACP for GVR, after they call international community. A international community now. Africa is not short of diplomatic dialogue. Mukesi no, my application, mibusa Abuja, omukromu ni letterhead. Mwankasa we ni letterhead. Entunko Abuja. Mvachote. We ni toilet ya udia. Enti mistake nana aye. Ene Ghana for aye ni say. Papa vi muka so mpom country no. Me pa cho, monfa Ghana map. Na monfa ma wo ma machi wo mu no. Na mo chese ba bia mo de mo nche. Enti a kirema na mo so mo nkonkofa. Na wagya wo mu no makwa akofom country. Nyanhwa ba bi o be declare. Captain wutie me. Nyanhwa ba bi kura citizens so odo mo kọ. Na interestingly, Asogli ba bia me have a problem now. Asogli state say on be attack wo. And that is the build up of an insurgency groups. We don't need that. Our mafia Anglo state omso minimum. So gakope omso minimum. Ho su ominimum. Ho su ominimum. Me pacho anya munku na mfru voter. I'm a votarian myself. Yes.
Okay.
Me pacho min can be that minty, but I'm from a palace of Amfoiga direct.
Okay.
Our family is the Ajofu family of Amfoiga. So we know the history within the region. Jasekai, not Volta. Afe omse akwam land, akwam fie, any the area of your friend saying, akoso modam no one, ayo mudia. Me pacho, why are the people now modu omukwakoye sa country no? Na Ghana what na ho? Ama nkofo abegina lower o flag. I declare independence. When you're not chin, now a jawomu, no mukofie, Captain Smart. That is the biggest horrible mistake any country can ever do. The very day you declare independence within a republic, that one is a treasonable offense. It has nothing to do with Papavi's age. Me pacho General Pinochet, yakoji no 87 years. Manfred Huber, yakochi in Argentina, no 90 years. German for din betu mani uye. Oma the uprising any Poland Cold War era regardless of your age. When you had the chance to arrest these people, You don't take them to normal court system. You create immediately a special court. Try them with the treasonable
offense
status of the country. If it is life, Ghana, we don't do firing squad. But life sentences, and a maximum, you give it to them as such. Saudi Maom at that time now, they would have redressed, they would have changed. Now we're talking. But interestingly, Utium communicator was say, the government should come and sit down with us and negotiate. But not only him. Can you imagine, say, Ghanaian politicians, parliamentarians, and then high-profile government officials, including MPP government and the past government, previous government, said the government, any lectures be a matiti omuka, professors be omuka sa ukruma. Said government should sit down and negotiate with them. Mobeti mache negotiation a table no, aniyama emraso. Negotiate with them, see emfa Ghana man yina momunkwana. Negotiate with them, see emfa koko mama, koko ni ho. Negotiate with them, say yamfa oil ni ho. Negotiate with them, say Ghana timber yamfa mawumu. Negotiate with them on what? So government of Ghana, you cannot make a mistake and negotiate with them. People have also accused the president to speak. You know why? If Nana Addo speaks on this subject at this point, it is a capital failure. You know why? The president must have a word for the group. We're a diplomat. He's been a foreign minister, and you know how to play the game. Until me recognizes there's a secessionist on his land, it's an admittance. Nana Addo cannot say there's a separatist, it's an admittance. Nana Addo cannot say there's an insurgent, there's an admittance. Yanibi. So he can only sit back. And I'm telling also and advising the security communicators, a group, secessionists, please, if you use secessionists, admit that they are secessionists, give them their land. So we should stop. Professors, overnight, security analysts, don't use the word secessionists or separatists. Yeni Protestants waha. Vigilante is not a word that to be used in Ghana because vigilante be no suit any tie eco court. Kumasi vigilante for MPP so mko yunko for court. No be a court. Na ni rene na madinachi. Vigilante or defie. Tamil rebels. But it's sister rebels. Ominyina no bia no odafi odanwuram throughout. Papa vi person create no gene country a on per land outside Ghana. No nkotre bush outside Ghana. Now one shall say Togo Beman holding area. Onya friendly government. Na ya the country did the mao nipa 200 no. Yansha within the ECOWAS horizon and within the ECOWAS belt. Country called by your friend. Na him for no sponsors. Captain Smart. Papa vi cannot mobilize 1,000 cities. 1,000 cities. And fan top your water man call for South citizen no. For 1 week, omina bewu. 1 week, Yamfa country now was so open man. Near here so one international allies. You don't fight with a country like Ghana. You know something interestingly for your information. The United States High Command, cantonments in Papa Nihokwa. Nihokwa. America found sorry number High Command for West Africa. Waha. Papa, we get the information. Ghana presidents get the information. Ghana opposition get the information. Obia by wajin so person touching this country now. And brofuni be si form. Bachoti. Obia by na so better touch this country now. And brofuni be si form. I'm telling you.
They will not allow that.
Me say on be si form. President Kufo president mo konfere musano. Ni elections too ni nyina. Abrofuni mo begu kroma. Nana Addo onim. President Mahama, oh yeah, aware. Election 2016, omnim, you sign. Young farmer to public say we read you, but they are aware because Aha is treated as the most peaceful diplomatic hub for the UN for all. And it's a country be Mali troubles nabano. Embassies be close to down. We be a relocate to Ghana. Cote d'Ivoire, war by up to now. Israeli embassy of Cote d'Ivoire one could be. All these countries in West Africa is seen Ghana or Dakar. Now, Cote d'Ivoire mono, omo remnants, omo exile leaders, omo rebel leaders. Mali Owobi, Mali or 14 rebel groups. Burkina or exile leader or rebel groups. Togo, onya rebel leader Olympia, obatra Ghana for over 30 years. All these countries, Ghana a zero. And until Wahab, and a peaceful destination. It is the Argentina of the Latin America. It is the Switzerland of Europe. A declared indirectly, directly, Red Cross nation. Ghana is a red flag, Red Cross nation. Indirectly. The Poland, the Switzerland, the Canada, Red Cross nation, Austria, Switzerland, Ghana, Kahun. So therefore, say what you ho, Nasa will say, and ne, what to me, Matima coordinate, me pacho, where did be coso? Successful coordinated attack. Now, my very good friend, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. Samuel, I don't do this, but I'll do this for the first time. He's a good friend of mine. Samuel, you're on the ranking membership, and the ranking member, Shadow Minister of the Foreign Affairs for NDC. So possibly you could be a foreign minister. I've read and I've heard. If he is misquoted, I stand to be corrected. But if that is the case, say, the secessionist coordinated a successful attack. Samuel, you don't do that. The secessionist coordinated a what? A successful attack. To bottom near Ojina Kaneshi Market. Watite obi aginu for free nisem. Enye successfully coordinated. I'm robber waba fie abebu window abra no yire ma te ho. Abe wiado akọ. Enye successful coordinated. Kintampo. I'm robbers barricade. Enye successful coordinated. Techiman Road. I'm robbers. Omuyi bus munipa 20 buses Jimiska and yes successful coordinated. So this is a pure criminal act by a certain group that the police, the military, the intelligence community, the military intelligence, the BNI, the Ghana Immigration, all of them.
Awa yanda ni ye humra.